Then comes absolute pitch. Absolute pitch is a very interesting phenomenon. And it says for people who understand, identify, and are able to sing at the perfect pitches without the need for reference, which is very strange. Most people can say, like if you play Baba Black Sheep or something like that, even people who don't understand English can interpret high versus low tones. You don't have to understand music to do that. But absolute pitch is very rare for people that just can tell the pitches in a particular chord or even in isolation without any external reference. They just can. And now the reasoning for it may be varied, and other people have tried to explain why this happens. And I will explain those to you. I will give you all 4 of them here, and then you may decide which one you like better. So the reason why people have come up with these is because it's so rare and it's so unique. So some people came up with what is called the hereditary theory, which basically means is you're just born with it. You lucked out. You just know how to do it. There's something in your physiology that your basilar membrane is just constructed differently. The neural networks in there are just joined differently, and there's not much we can do with it. So even if you're not a musical person and you never play an instrument, some sounds will bother you. And then the other one is called the learning theory, and it's opposite to the hereditary theory, and it says everybody can and is capable of learning absolute pitch if you practice hard enough. However, most musicians do not accept that, because people have tried for years and years and years and years and years, and they still have a hard time.
It's like, it's possible. There's people in the department that have learned perfect pitch. The rest of us just kind of get like close, or we start, it takes years to actually develop perfect pitch if people aren't born with it.
Yeah.
So the way that we're kind of like, we talk about in ear training, especially, is some people are born with it, like they just always had it, and the rest of us, low lives in the music department, just trying to catch up, I guess.
But that's the other thing, right? So I don't know, but I think I subscribe to both of these, a combination of both. You should be born with it, and then you could be taught it. I don't think both could be in isolation. Like, I think there has to be something that is within you, and then on top of it, then you can be taught how to, do it properly. That's the best combination, right? But I don't think people who are just born with it and just can do it, I don't think that happens, right? I mean, if you still need training, you still need years of diligent training in order to do it. I may be wrong in that, but that's my impression. But the third one, that's even more interesting to me when I think about it. So in the unlearning theory, they say that everybody is born with it, but then we unlearn it over time. How do you unlearn it? Yeah? Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. That's true. Evolutionary point of view, we've never needed it necessarily. But see, that's my problem. I don't think everybody's born with it. Like in this theory, they say everybody is born with it and we just lose it. I think we do know how to distinguish. Everybody's born with high versus low. If you give somebody like the both of them together, they'll say, oh, this one's higher and this one's lower, right? But I don't think absolute pitch is what we are all born with. I may be wrong in that. But you're right, evolutionary, we've never needed it.
You don't even know that it's a thing or to differentiate it from anyone else. So they just don't, maybe it's not losing it, but they just don't know how to use it.
Yeah, well, I can accept that. I can accept that they don't know that they have it, but sounds bother those people a lot more, right? And so if something was bothering me, I would probably try to figure out why is it that these two sounds don't bother me more than others, right? Yeah, but you're right. I mean, it could be a combination of both. But unlearning theory, I have a hard time with. Like, I don't think I was born with it. Like, I can't put two notes together. The imprinting theory, on the other hand, says that all children can be taught absolute pitch at the right time. Again, I also don't think that that's completely true. I personally think the first two more than the last two are probably correct, but I want you to be aware that those are theories that are out there, right? I mean, I personally think the first two. I think you need to be born with it, and then I think you need to be trained to realize what you have. Like artists, right? Not everybody can paint. The same way, like they say everybody can sing, but not everybody should. Right? It's kind of like the same thing. But relative pitch is what we can all learn, right? We can all learn to distinguish between one versus the other. Oh, is this higher than this one? Is this lower than that one? And that's why the concert pitch is very important. You know, the A440. Now you can figure out how much higher and how much lower. You can train your brain to know how much higher and how much lower. And that's called ear training. It's not actually ear training, right? It's actually brain training. Yep. And yes, your ear does get some credit because you're training the basilar membrane to move in a certain way or certain neurons to fire when they respond to certain frequencies. Yes, that is ear neurons being trained, but it's mostly the brain. The other important sentence here is this one, that you do not need absolute pitch to succeed at ear training. One goal of ear training is the development of relative pitch. So as long as you have very good relative pitch, you can become a good musician. And then tonal memory is the ability to recall previously sounded note. Some people, right, can just hear music and then just play it, right? They don't need it to be written. Anyone here that can do that? You can? Yeah.
Dr. Krieger can.
Yeah, like those people are amazing. That could just hear it and they just remember it and then just play it. And some people can also like hear it on a different instrument and then play it on like whatever they have. Yeah. There's also another phenomenon. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. It's called the virtual pitch. What virtual pitch is seeing shapes in clouds. Everybody, when you were little, right? Lie down on the grass and look up at the clouds and you see elephants and mice and flowers and whatnot in the clouds. Virtual pitch is similar. Virtual pitch in 1970, they knew about it, but the first person to use the term was Professor Ernest Terhard. Actually used the term virtual pitch, which is the experimentally established phenomenon in which a human brain interprets tones in music that don't actually exist. Especially in cases if there is a missing fundamental.